Looking back, none of this, by which I mean the founding of Cornerstone by me, would have happened without the tragic accidental death of my father and sister when I was 5. The resultant effects of bereavement, boarding schools and failed universities left me an outlier, so that I did not join the family business, but satisfied my rebellious self by embracing social work. Yet this background enabled me to identify with people with learning disabilities, whose lives in the 1960s and 70s were still heavily influenced by the 1913 Scottish Mental Deficiency Act, an act that legally categorized them as idiots, imbeciles, or feeble-minded. Those definitions informed and molded the pattern of services. They were segregated, dismissed, rejected. Those definitions led the medical profession of the day to advise parents of handicapped children to place them in institutions, forget about them, and have another child. Hence, the name Cornerstone, a name I found in a verse from the Bible, "The stone the builders rejected became the cornerstone," resonated hope for me and possibly for my clients. 30 years on, it has proved prophetic for many, as on my departure, Cornerstone has become one of the largest social care agencies in Scotland, and when I left, I was not surprised to hear one of the parents say to me, "I didn't start living until I was 63 and Cornerstone began caring for my Lorraine." Circumstance had brought me into this segregated world of hostels, hospitals, and day centres, a world which even in the 1980s debated the normality of its clients, grading them as high, medium, or low-grade defectives, who laughed at the aspirations of Cornerstone, the critic and pioneer. Yes, it was the change in paradigm, the change in the mindset that made the difference, from one which was overly negative to one where our residents were people first and disabled second, where for the first time their aspirations were taken seriously, and it showed. Our residents were far more confident and articulate than their peers in hospital. At the start, we were on a steep learning curve, discovering the humanity of our residents. I can vividly remember a meeting of parents, staff and residents when we were shocked when the residents tentatively voted to want to have a home of their own. And so it was out of similar meetings that we established our aim, to enable people who require our support to enjoy a valued life. Yes, 30 years is a long time. Attitudes to people with a learning disability have been transformed by that change of mindset. Progress has been made, but clouds are threatening. There seems to be a hollowing out of services, a weakening of the infrastructure of care, where increasing numbers of staff are employed on the least legally permissible conditions of service. Some work in social care because they have to and not because they want to, and care is sold to the lowest bidder. Many parents are increasingly frightened for the future of their Lorraine, since Cornerstone and others cannot promise a home for life. Yet I still retain my optimism for the future. Successfully pushing boulders up mountains gives you that. The funding facts of life have to be faced. Budgets do need to balance. But I believe savings can be found and more, particularly in 2 ways. By the transformation of the current inefficient systems of management, commissioning and regulation, which pervade Scotland, and the use of intelligent telecare, which deploys care on a just-in-time basis when it's needed and not just in case. But I am fearful. I can hear the cynics laughing, see the accountants sharpening their pencils, and the markets demanding a quicker fix. These are the new boulders, the challenge is to find a secure funding base.